Hello and welcome to the webinar. My name is May Duldalau, and before I begin, I'm going to introduce myself and basically let you know a little bit about who I am. This webinar is 3 steps to creating your financially free life. So I'm going to edit this slide here to make it say everything. 3 steps to creating your financially free life. So that's the name of the webinar. That's what we are looking at now. Now, first, I want to show you hi, this is May. So we are live. I am at my home, and we are going to be talking about 3 steps to creating your financially free life. So thank you for joining me on this webinar. I want you to congratulate yourself because it was a big deal to get on here. It's a big step to decide to learn about how to become financially free. Not everyone wants to be financially free. Not everyone thinks it's possible, so they don't even think they could be, so they wouldn't even be on this webinar because their mind is so close to the idea that they just don't know about it. For you on this webinar right now, I'm going to tell you you are special because the fact that you are here shows that you are ready to become financially free. Your mind is open, you're ready to learn new things, and I'm excited to meet you and to get started. Now, during the webinar, if you have anything you want to tell me, you can email me. And my email, I will show it to you while I'm doing the webinar. When I want you to email me, you can email me. My email address is meyduldulau@gmail.com. So let me put it on the screen right now for you. And you can email me at any time if you want to say something. Go ahead. So let me just put it on for you so you can see it. Okay, so my name is May Duldalau, and my email is mayduldalau@gmail.com. So at any time if you want to say something to me, you can email me. Now, this is live right now. This is January 19 in the United States. So if you're coming in from the Philippines or somewhere in the world, it might not be the 19th of January, okay? I am in Hawaii, so this is Hawaii time. It's my 9 a.m., all right? Now, you can always watch the replay of this again. I will be sending out a replay link after this is over. And that's it. So email me, mayduldalau@gmail.com. If you have any questions, you want me to talk to you about something during this webinar, I will check my email occasionally to see if there are any comments or anything. All right, so we're going to get started. I'm going to keep this to 1 hour, so let's go. Okay, so I'm going to share with you, you should be seeing my screen right now. This is my presentation. We are about to begin. 3 steps to creating your financial freedom. Hold on. Sorry. Okay, so you should see that fine. Let's begin. My name is May Duldalau. We talked about that already. I'm going to start with my story. You may have heard it already, guys, when you sign up for this webinar. However, I'm going to show you a picture of where I used to live. See this big building in the middle of the picture? I did not live in that building. I lived in the smaller building on the left. It's a walk-up apartment. What that means is you walk up the stairs to get to your room. And the rent was $600 a month. I made $500 a month at the time, so I shared it with 2 other women. We, excuse me, it was 100 square feet, which is not a very big space. So we would have our 3 beds. They were stuck to each other in the bedroom because there wasn't enough room to have them next to each other without having them stuck to each other. So we'd have to crawl over each other to get out of bed in the morning. And we spent $200 each on rent, and the rest of the money went to our food and clothing and things like that. There was an alcoholic who lived next door, and there was a drug dealer down the hall. So it wasn't a good environment. It was not a very safe environment. It was a very poor environment to be living. Now, this is in Honolulu, Hawaii, which is a very nice place to live. However, the environment that I was in, the apartment complex, the people that lived there, they weren't the best. So what happened? One day I realized that I didn't want to live that way anymore. I wanted a safer life, wanted to have more resources. I wanted to have children one day and a family, and I wouldn't want them to live in a place like that. So I realized I had to make a change. So what did I do? I decided to invest and learn about how to become wealthy. And I didn't know what financial freedom was back then. This was about 5 years ago. I started studying this. I didn't know what financial freedom was. I never really heard of it. I mean, I've heard of it, however, I didn't understand it. And what happened was I started studying everything I could think of about wealth. So I went to the Millionaire Mind Intensive Seminar. You can see in this picture, this is T. Harv Eker, the man who created it. He wrote the book Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, which I highly recommend you read. So I went to this seminar. It was a 3-day-long seminar, and it changed my life. He did what you call, he reprogrammed your money blueprint. What does that mean? In your head, you are already set to make a certain amount of money. That's why if you win the lottery, let's say you win $1 million, if you are right now, if you are a poor person, you're not going to suddenly become rich. What's going to happen is you're going to take that $1 million and then it's going to be gone after a couple of years. And you're going to be back to where you were. And why is that? Why is it someone like Donald Trump, who's like a billionaire, can lose all his money and be in the red, millions of dollars, and then suddenly later on get all his money back? How is that possible? How come the poor stay poor and the rich stay rich? Well, the reason is you have a money blueprint in your head, is what he calls it. What it means is the way you think. And if you change the way you think, you can have more money in your life. And at that seminar, he changes the way that you think so that you can have more money. He raises your financial blueprint. So I went there and my financial blueprint changed. After that seminar, my life changed. So I went to this seminar. I went to a lot of other seminars. I read books. I read The Richest Man in Babylon, The Science of Getting Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I read, like I said, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. It's Not About the Money, Think and Grow Rich. There's so many books out there to read about finances and wealth. And I just studied all the time. I took courses. I went to seminars. I studied books. I spent over $30,000 on my education. Over $30,000 on my financial and personal growth education because I was on a mission to change my life. I had been in such a low point and I had been wondering how could I get to this point in my life? And I realized I had to make a change. So I studied, and then I found the formula to financial freedom. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. I shared it with my husband already 2 years ago. He's in this picture with my son, Jordan. We use this formula, we use it daily, and our money grows. We have passive income. We have money that comes into our accounts every month that we pay ourselves, not from a job, from us. We pay ourselves money every month. Now, I'm going to teach you that in this webinar. This webinar is 1 hour long. I'm going to stick to my commitment of 1 hour. Everything you need to know in this free webinar is going to be taught to you in this 1 hour. Now, at the end of this webinar, I am going to offer other offers. There are some people who feel like they need more resources. If they do, and if you are one of them, I'm going to give you a chance to pay for extra help if you want it. However, I'm going to tell you right now, in this webinar, you have all that you need. Now, that being said, you might want to go to the Millionaire Mind Intensive. You might want to get more resources and have a better, quicker path to financial freedom. And if you do, I'm going to show you ways that you can do that with some offers at the end. So I'm just going to tell you that right now. At the end, if you want to go an extra mile, you will have that chance. So let's begin. I want to dedicate this webinar, first of all, to Martin Luther King Jr. Today in the United States is Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. I don't know if you know who he is because I have a lot of people on this webinar who are not from the United States. We have people from the Philippines, we have people from Indonesia, Norway, United Arab Emirates, something like that. I get that wrong. Arab states. We have people from all over the world, honestly. And they're coming to this webinar. You are all coming here, and you're here on this webinar because you want to make a change in your life. You want to become financially free, and you're looking for the way. And it's all about freedom. And Martin Luther King Jr., he was a man who believed that all of humanity could be united in brotherhood. Everyone was equal and beautiful and worthy. And he has this quote. And he's very famous because he started the racial equality movement in the United States. He was killed, he was shot during this speech. He's famous for always saying, I have a dream that, you know, you live in a nation where his children will, you know, be friends with other children. It won't matter what color their skin is, it won't matter what nationality they are. We will see each other as equals, and we will live in a loving society. So that is Martin Luther King Jr. He's very inspirational to me, and a lot of Americans. Our banks are all closed today. Our federal government is closed today in honor of this man. This is one of his quotes. If our lives begin to end the day we become silent about the things that matter. This quote helped motivate me to bring this webinar to you, because I can keep creating financial freedom in my life. I can keep doing what I do, and I can not tell anyone. You know, I can be quiet about it and just do my own thing. And it's a lot easier too, because it took me a long time to prepare this webinar. I mean, honestly, and it costs money to advertise it on Facebook so that you could see it and join. And there's a lot of things that go into these things. And the reason I spent the resources and the time was because I realized I have to speak out and teach other people what I know, what husband knows. Because if we don't teach you, you'll never know it yourself. And to me, it's one of the most blessed things in the world to be free. Truly free. Financially free is true freedom. And I'm going to teach you in this webinar how to get there and why that is. Like what is it that makes financial freedom so important? Especially in modern day society. I'm not going to say there is no more racism. However, I think one of the biggest challenges to this society is the lack of freedom financially. Financial freedom is just as important, and I dedicate this webinar to Martin Luther King Jr. So let's begin with a question. You have 1 minute to write down all the answers you can think of to this question. So are you ready? What I mean by ready is you have to have a pen and a piece of paper, or you're going to have your computer ready and you're going to open it to a blank screen and you're ready to type something in. Okay, so get your paper, get your pen, get your notebook. If you're watching the replay, you can pause it here so that you can be ready. Okay, so are you ready? All right, so let's begin. You're going to answer, you're going to write all the answers you can think of for 1 minute, and I'm going to time this, okay? I'm probably just going to count to 60. Okay, so let's take a look and begin. If you had $1 million if you had $1 million US right now, what would you do with it? 1 minute, go. Write all your answers right now. $30 seconds left. Okay, we're done. That's 1 minute. Stop writing, stop typing. What are your answers? What did you write? If you had $1 million US right now, what would you do with it? This is a good time to email. You can email me your answers at mayduldulao@gmail.com. I put my email there again for you. Go ahead and email me or message me on Facebook what your answers are. What did you say that you would do with the $1 million? While we wait for your answers, I want you to think about this. Are you financially free right now? Now, you might see that question and say, well, no, that's why I'm here. However, I'm asking it for an important reason, because I'm asking you to be open-minded. Why is that? A lot of the reason people are not financially free or not good at something in their life is because they have closed off their mind and they think they already know everything about something. And as soon as you think you know everything about something, that's when you stop learning. When you stop learning, you stop growing. And that's the point where you don't know anymore about that topic. Now, if you really were financially free, if you really understood what's going to be presented in this webinar, if you really, really knew it, you would be financially free already. Or you would be like us, creating financial freedom by bringing in money into your life and doing things that will actually create financial freedom. If you don't see that happening, if you're living paycheck to paycheck or you just don't have money, then you need to learn something new. I think you would agree that there's just something new that you don't know that you need to learn. So that is what we are going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about the things that create financial freedom. Now, I want to keep an open mind, because the fact that you're on this webinar, that means that you are ready. You can become financially free. As you pay attention to this webinar and listen to what I show you, something is going to happen in your mind. There is going to be a click. There's going to be something turn on in your head. The light bulb will turn on, and you are going to find the answer that you need to become financially free. It's in this webinar for you in this 1 hour time. As you pay very close attention to all the words I say, you read the slides, if you understand what's going on, you will finally realize what has been holding you back, and it will disappear, and you will finally make changes in your life to become financially free. And you will see the changes in your family. You will see the changes in your life. You will be more relaxed. You will have more money. You will have more time to spend in your family. You will be able to do things that you have never done in your life before, like take trips, go to beaches, hang out, enjoy life, do the things that you love to do with your career, develop as a person, help out in the community, create charities, donate. You are going to have the ability to do things that you never thought were possible. Now that is the truth, and that is what is going to happen as you pay attention on this webinar. Now I'm going to stop right here and check my email real quick so we can see some of the answers that we're getting from the people on the webinar. And I'm going to put these answers on the next screen. Okay, so I hope you understand what I'm saying. Just keep an open mind, open up, and you will hear the answer that you need. Because really, I'm here to help you find out your answer. Everyone is different. Everyone has their own needs and their own history and their own talents, and everyone is different. However, there is something that is in this presentation that will help you. So congratulations for being here. Okay, I'm done putting in the answers that I've gotten from people, so let's take a look. Okay, common answers that have come up before, answers that you may have written down yourself. With $1 million, I would buy a house, I would buy a car, I would buy something, right? You buy something. Go on a vacation, pay for my children's education, do something lavish and exciting. Maybe you buy this beautiful dream home here, look at that pool, beautiful fire, this kind of gorgeous thing. Maybe you'll get your own private plane and you'll fly places, whatever it is. You have this list of what you would do with $1 million. I'm going to tell you this. If you wrote things like that, then what did you do with $1 million? You spent it, right? You spent your $1 million. And I'm going to tell you this, and it might seem like a surprise, or it might not seem like a surprise. People who spend all of their money will never have any money. Now, I don't know if you understand this, and a lot of people looking at it will be like, well, duh, of course, I completely understand. If you spend all your money, you don't have any money. No, if you're on this webinar and you're looking for the answer to become financially free, I'm going to tell you right now that you need to read this sentence very carefully. People who spend all of their money will never have any money. And yet most people who look at that question about $1 million will write down all the ways they would spend it. And that is why they are not financially free. So what did you write? Think about it. Did you write about what you would spend your money on? Or did you give an answer like this? This is my answer right now. And this wasn't always my answer, okay? I used to write the same things you did. I'll buy this, I'll buy that, you know, because I was poor. My answer right now is this. I would take all the money, I would invest it with my financial advisor and make more money with it. What does that mean? It means you take all the $1 million, you don't spend any of it, never. You don't spend it at all. You put it in an investment account, and when it starts making money, you spend that money. You spend the money that it makes. Okay? And not even all of it, because some of it you put back in to grow it. However, you can spend the money that it makes. You don't spend the $1 million. Most people would not do this. And that is why most people are not financially free. Now, it took me years and years and years to come to this conclusion. And you might say, right now, you might say, oh, I'll invest the money. That's what I would do with the money. However, when you really got the $1 million, would you invest the money? Would you? Would somebody in your family say, hey, you have $1 million. My son needs your help. He wants to go to school. Can you please pay for it? You have $1 million. If you pay for it, you'll still have like almost $1 million left. So just give me the money and then I'll take it to school. I mean, really think about it. Would you really invest $1 million or would you spend it? So that brings me to a point. I said in the prior slide that if you make $1 million, if I made $1 million, I would take it, invest it, and I would use the money that I make from the $1 million, my profit. That comes into a new word that you might not know. I didn't know this word until I went to the Millionaire Mind Intensive Seminar way back 5 years ago. And this word is passive income. What is passive income? Passive income is money working for you to make more money. So say you take that $1 million and you put it in an investment account, and every year it makes 100,000. Okay, so you put $1 million in, it makes 100,000 in profit. So it's still $1 million there. It just has an extra 100,000. So what you would do with that extra 100,000 that it's making, that's called passive income. And why is it passive? Because your money is making that money whether you work or not. You don't have to work for the money. You could do anything, and you'd still get money. You could go to the beach. You could hang out with your family. You could work your job or not. You could work a different job. You could go volunteer in a different country or in your neighborhood, and you would still make $100,000 every year. I'm just throwing out an estimate. I'm not guaranteeing if you put $1 million in an investment account, you'd make 100,000. You could make more or you could make less. Depends on how you invest it. However, the point is the money that your money makes for you, that is called passive income. Now, you may have heard it before, you may not have. However, it is a very important word, not always understood. However, that is what it is. It's money that you make without working, without spending your time. If you're spending your time and you're getting paid because you put in some time, that is not passive income because you're doing something. That's called active income, just regular income. Okay? So passive income, remember, you are not trading your time for money. Let's talk about that in terms of true wealth. What is true wealth? For me, true wealth is, it means you have time, right? You have the time to do things that you want. You have loving relationships. You have great health, you have a fulfilling career, and you have contribution to the community. You can give to people. So true wealth begins, to me, the most important thing is to have time. Because with the time, you use that time to create loving relationships. You use that time to create better health. You use that time to create a more fulfilling career, right? If you have true wealth, you have time. And this is something that a lot of people do not understand, okay? A lot of people don't, because they think if they just make more money, like let's say they make $1 million every year, and then they think that's wealth. Well, if you have to work all the time to get that money, if you work every day, you never see your family, you never do anything you love, you just work, let's say you don't really like to work that much, so you work all the time to get all this money, and you never ever get to really enjoy it. Is that true wealth to you? Does that mean true wealth? What if you don't make a ton of money, however, you have all of your time? What if you make enough, you make enough money to pay your rent, to buy your groceries, live in a nice neighborhood, not a rich neighborhood, a nice neighborhood, you have enough money that you can live a decent living, it's clean, you can eat good food. However, you have time. Every day the time you have is yours to spend. So you spend time with your children. You spend time with your husband or your wife, your parents. You spend time with your cousins, your aunties, your friends. You spend time on your health. You go running, you go jogging, you go swimming, you join a sports team. You do things that keep you healthy. You eat really healthy food. You buy organic. You do things like you cook your own food. Like you just heard someone cooking in my kitchen. You get a fulfilling career. You get to do it. Say you want to pursue art. Say you love art, however you're afraid that you won't get paid. Well, if you have all the time, you don't have to worry about spending it to make money. Well, you can spend that time to learn and master art or whatever it is that you want to do. For me, it's to train and teach people how to become financially free. I didn't know that was my calling until recently. However, that's what I like to do. I like to spend time learning ways to teach people how to become financially free. Contribution, giving to the community. You can spend time to fix a school. You can spend time to tutor kids. You can spend time to create an organization to feed the homeless or create programs to train people so that they can get new jobs, new skills. Whatever it is that you want. Time, to me, time is the ultimate wealth. And time is what has been, most people don't have it, which is why most people are not free. So financial freedom really is about time. It's not about how much money you have. You could be financially free and live a very modest life. You could be living in a very small home and, your expenses are really low and you could be financially free. Or you could be really wealthy and financially free. However, you need to make more passive income. There's all kinds of people who are financially free. They have different amounts of money. And to me, that is true wealth. True wealth is time. I'm going to give you some more stories because it helps to make this easier to understand. I just heard Dr. Steve Shiner. He's an eye doctor and he's an entrepreneur, which means he has his own business. He makes money online. I have an online business as well. So Dr. Steve Shiner, he was on a call called the Empower Hour, and he talked about his story. And it was just this week. I just listened to his story a couple days ago. And he said that, when he was a kid, he really didn't know what he wanted to do. And he went to college and he learned all this stuff. It took him forever to graduate because he just took all these different classes and he just couldn't focus on one area. So it took him more than the regular time to graduate. When he graduated, he still didn't know what he wanted to do. And then one day he went to the eye doctor. And then while he was in the eye doctor's office, he thought, hey, you know what? I could do this. I could be an eye doctor. It's not that he had a passion to become an eye doctor. It's not that he dreamt of becoming an eye doctor and it's his mission in life. He just realized that, you know what, this is a good life. I could do this for my living. I think I could handle this. So he went back to school, got his degree in medicine to become an eye doctor, and he got into debt. $100,000, over $100,000 US dollars in debt. And when he got out, he got a job and he made $50,000 a year. And he had this interesting point. He said, a lot of you might hear this and say, $50,000 a year, that's great. That's a lot of money. I would love to make $50,000 a year. And, you know, it's true, it is a lot of money. However, he had so much debt. He had so much debt. He had to spend $1,200, $1,200 a month, every month for 10 years to pay off his student loans. So he had major expenses. So as a doctor, you might make more money. However, you also have to spend more money because your education was so expensive. So you have to spend more money. You have a larger debt. You owe more money, so you have to pay more money every month to pay it off. So the more money that you make is thrown into this debt that you have to pay off. For 10 years, he had to do that. 10 years before he could get to a place where he wouldn't have to pay back that debt anymore. And basically, he was saying that just because someone's a doctor or a lawyer or an investment advisor or something, and they look like they have a lot of money, you know, they live in a better house, they drive a better car, it doesn't mean they really are financially free. Because if they're spending all the money they make and they're stuck, they have to work for money. If they don't work, they don't have money come in, and then they are in trouble. Like they won't be able to pay their mortgage and they will be in serious trouble. A lot of doctors, a lot of lawyers, a lot of people who you would consider wealthy, they are also living paycheck to paycheck. And his point was that. His point was that he was not happy. First of all, he picked a career he wasn't in love with being an eye doctor. And second of all, it was expensive and he had to spend all his time working. I think he said he worked like 6 or 7 days a week and he worked over 10 hours a day. So he was working a lot. He wouldn't be able to see his family, right? He wouldn't be able to go on as many vacations because if he wasn't working, he wasn't making money. And he just hated it. He hated the fact that he had to trade his time for money. And the time when he had his breakthrough, which is funny because at the same time, he went to the Millionaire Mind Intensive seminar. And I just heard his story this week. So I didn't know this guy. You know, he's just someone in my business who was giving a talk because he's being very successful in it. And he went to the Millionaire Mind Intensive, I don't know how many years ago. And that was when he learned about passive income. That's when he learned that you can have a better way. You can live a life where you don't trade your time for money anymore. So even if you're a doctor or a lawyer, you have a similar problem where you're stuck in a situation and you're not really free. And depending on where you're at, you might decide that you really want freedom or you might not. However, this is a story from Dr. Steve Shiner. I thought it was a great point of view. He's actually doing much better now. His internet business has been doing well. So he makes a lot of extra money. And so he's cut down his hours. He only works 3 days a week, part-time. And he said if he doesn't have to go in, he doesn't go in. So it's amazing. He's actually changed his life a lot. Mother story. Now, when I started learning how to become financially free, I made friends with people who were financially free. One of them was a 37-year-old young man. He became financially free when he was 37. Okay, so he's young, he's 37. And he told me to play this game called Cash Flow, which was created by Robert Kiyosaki. He is the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is a great book, and the Cash Flow Quadrant, and all the books that he writes are very, very good books. He made this board game you can play. And you go around the board, and in the middle of the board, there's this little round wheel, see, with this rat in the middle? And this is what they call the rat race. The rat race means you have to work for a living. You get up, you go to work, you go home. You get up, you go to work, go home. This is the rat race. There's a bunch of rats, right, running around a circle. It never ends. It's like the rat race. And the game, you have to get out of the rat race, and then go on this larger outer thing, which is about building wealth. You know, after you get out of the rat race and you're financially free, then you build wealth. So, like I said, becoming financially free doesn't necessarily mean you're rich. It just means you don't have to work anymore. You have enough money that you have free time. And he's saying after you get the free time, then you work on becoming rich, and that's what this part of the game is. So I had to, my friend gave me this homework assignment. He said, play this game until you can get out of the game in under an hour. So I got the game, and I played it for 2 years every week. For 2 years. Okay, once a week for 2 years. All right? And so I think you can understand. I was very, very determined to become financially free. I mean, when you start off being poor, it takes a lot more work to get your brain working so that you understand this. So I just played this game, and it really trained me the basic concept I'm going to teach you today. And the one thing that was really interesting about the game was that in the game you pick a profession. Okay, you pick something that you want to be. So it's a bunch of cards. So you just pick a card. You might become a doctor. You might become a flight attendant, a pilot, a lawyer, a business person. And there's also a janitor. And the funny thing was, as we played the game, we realized that the janitor card was the best card to get. Now, why? Janitors always become financially free faster. You might be thinking, what? And I was too. In the beginning, it was surprising. And the reason the janitor becomes financially free faster, do you know? Do you think you can guess? Why would the janitor become financially free faster? Why would everyone want the janitor card? And this comes to our next important point. Because janitors don't spend as much money. They don't have as fancy a house as a doctor, so their mortgage is smaller. They don't buy as many fancy things as a doctor, so their credit card debt is lower. They don't, send their kids to a really expensive school necessarily. They might, however, in general they don't. Maybe they send them to public school, so their education expenses for their children are lower. What I'm getting at is janitors don't spend as much money because they don't make as much money, right? If you don't make as much money, you're not going to spend it. So janitors don't make as much money, so they don't spend as much. Now, when you make an investment, so you save your money, you make an investment, say it makes, say your investment made $1,500 a month. Well, that might be enough to make a janitor financially free. It wouldn't make a doctor financially free because, as you saw in Stephen Shiner's story, he needed $1,200 just to pay his student loan every month. Janitor doesn't have a student loan. So when the janitor makes an investment and he makes a return on the investment, he makes a profit, it'll cover his living faster than a doctor or a lawyer. And he becomes financially free faster. Now that's something that people don't, I was like, what? I don't, and that leads it to a very important principle. And that's financial freedom and the equation. What is financial freedom? How do you become financial free? How do you get out of the rat race? This is the equation I was going to tell you, the financial freedom formula. Financial freedom means that you have enough passive income to pay all of your expenses. That's why the janitor became financially free faster, because he didn't have to make as much passive income to pay all of his expenses. Maybe 1 or 2 investments was enough. Maybe he just had to buy 1 house and rent it, and that rental income was enough to make him financially free. Whereas a doctor needed to buy 10 homes to cover all of his expenses. And he just spent more money. I'll put it another way, and this is like more math. Financial freedom equals passive income greater than or equal to expenses. Okay? Financial freedom means that your passive income, the money you make without working, is greater than or equal to the expenses you pay every month. So that means your food, your rent, whatever education you have to pay for your kids, school supplies, health care, whatever you have to pay, your haircuts, things like that, your expenses. Okay? Passive income greater than or equal expenses equals financial freedom. Now, passive income is not financial freedom, and I found this picture on the internet with these people sitting in this nice, shaped sofa by the ocean, and it has this passive income next to it, as if passive income was going to make them rich or something. I'm going to tell you right now, passive income is not enough to get you financial freedom. It's only one part of the equation, and it's important. You have to start making it. You have to have it. However, it does not equal financial freedom. Financial freedom equals passive income greater than equal to expenses. So your expenses are important too. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because this is the part that most people, they see this formula and like, oh, I understand, it makes perfect sense. However, in real life, they don't really understand this formula. Okay, and why do I say that? Because most people, when they start making more money, they spend more money. When you start investing and you make money in your investment account, if you have more money to spend and you're not reinvesting, you're not growing your investment account, and you end up just spending more money, you don't become financially free. Because you have to have your passive income be greater than your expenses. If your passive income grows and your spending grows, then your expenses are growing at the same time, and you will never be free. I hope you understand this, because this is something that most people do not understand, and I see it every day. How do I see it? Well, let's just ask you this question. If you got a raise today, what would you do with the extra money? Say you're working, you have a job. Maybe you don't have a job. However, if you have a job or whatever you do, you suddenly get more money per month. Okay, maybe you make an extra $500 a month, $300 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever it is. You get a raise. What do you do with the extra money you get in your raise? I'm going to give you two choices here. Do you spend it, or do you save and invest it to make more money? Now, you might be thinking, well, I'm going to do B, save and invest it to make more money. Or you might be honest and say, I would do A. Because if you're on this webinar right now and you're being open-minded, and you know right now your finances are not good, and you're looking at this presentation and you're being honest, you're going to answer this question, and you're going to look at this and you're going to say, okay, I would spend it. I even asked my mom this question today, just to see what she would say, right? I'm like, say you got extra money, say you made extra money. What would you do with that extra money? And the first thing she said was, I would save it and invest it. And then I'm like, okay. And then she suddenly said, however, I did buy my eyeglasses and my expenses went up. So then she's saying she would spend it on these new eyeglasses. Well, then I said, well, right now you don't make extra money and you're still paying for your eyeglasses. So why would you take the extra money that you make to pay for your eyeglasses? And all she could say was, it's an extra expense that I didn't have before. Even though right now, without a raise, she's paying for her eyeglasses, she thinks that if she gets a raise, she's going to use some of it to pay for her eyeglasses. And that's how people are. Most people, when they get extra money, they spend it. Whatever money they get, they spend it. As the money they make increases, they spend more money. And that's why they will never be free. This is so important. I don't even know how to tell you. This is the biggest thing. And I teach you the financial freedom formula, and that is extremely important. However, this part right here is the reason most people never become financially free. Most people would spend more if they made more money. Why? Why would they do that? Even if they theoretically in their brain know better, they would still do it. See, that is a very good question, and that is the question I want you to ask yourself. Because actually, everyone has their own answer. Not everyone does it for the same reason. You see, when I was poor and I didn't know why, I never asked myself this question. I went to the Millionaire Mind Intensive, and they asked us to, think about it. Think about things in your childhood, in your life that happened that were about money, that gave you some kind of negative feelings about money. What happened in your life, in your family, that changed how you feel about money? So, hold on one second. Okay. So, to me, for my personal story, the thing that happened in my life that when I was a kid was that I did save money. I was saving money, and my parents helped me do that. They helped me save money. And then at one point, they asked me for all the money I saved, all of it. And they took it and they paid off their credit card bill, and they never paid me back. So, and I was just a kid, And at the time, my thought about money was this: if I make money, if I save money, I'm just going to have to give it all to my family anyway. So why save money at all? Why save money? I'm just going to have to give it to my family, and it's not even mine. So if I save money, it doesn't even belong to me. So what's the point? So I never saved money until like 5 years ago, in my 30s, because I didn't even realize that was running my life, that it was controlling my life. This one story I made up when I was a kid. Once I realized that I did that, that I made up that story in my head that, all my money has to go to my family, then I realized I can change it. Because it's not true. It's just a story I made up when I was a kid. Everybody has their own story. Your story is not going to be the same as my story. Once I figured out what my story was, I could save money. I found a way and I could save money. I realized that I was afraid that my family would take it. And I'm like, well, they're not going to take it. And I'm not going to give it to them. Not to pay off a credit card debt. No way. Right? So then I realized that I have control over my money. And that was just a childhood thing. I don't think my parents have asked me for my savings ever since that day. Of course, I didn't have savings. However, now that I have savings, they're not asking me for it. I made up a story in my head when I was a kid. What is your story? And that's when I asked you. This is a very important question, because this is why you spend all your money. There's something going on in your head. Maybe it happened when you were a kid. Maybe it happened more recently that makes you afraid to save your money. You lose that confidence in yourself. You don't believe you're valuable or wealthy, and I'm going to tell you that you are. You are a valuable person. You deserve to be wealthy. You deserve to be financially free. You are an amazing and talented person. There's something in that you just made up a story. Just changed your life. So what is that story? What is it that happened in your life? If you want, you can email it to me. That's fine. Or just keep it to yourself. Or share it with a friend. Whatever that story is. Because once you find that story for you, you're going to change your life forever. Now here's another example. Another person I heard about in the seminar, they talked about this guy he made a lot of money. He had a good salary. He made a lot of money. However, he spent it all. And why did he do that? Because when he was raised as a kid, his mom would always say, rich people are evil. They're taking money from us poor people. They're evil. Rich people are bad. So when he started making a lot of money, he didn't keep it. And he didn't do it on purpose. He didn't realize. It's just that when he was a kid, he made up a story in his head that if he had a lot of money, he would be evil because his mom said that. So he got rid of all his money so he would never be rich. Even though he made a lot of money, he would lend it to friends that wouldn't pay him back. He would do bad business deals. He would just lose all his money, spend it on something. It would just be gone. And then he went to the Millionaire Mind Intensive, and he realized that was his story. And then he changed the story in his head. And he realized he could have money. He talked to his mom about it. His mom was happy with money. She liked it, And he realized that she wouldn't think he was evil if he had a lot of money. It was just a story that he made up in his head. And then he could finally save and become wealthy. And for him, it was a lot faster because he just made more money. So he became wealthy quicker. Whatever the story is in your head, you have to ask yourself, what happened when I was a kid? What went on? What is my relationship with money, and how does it affected by whatever happened to me? Because everyone's story is different. Whatever your story is, that's what's important. Another reason people spend all their money, and this, happens. I see this a lot. It's not the only reason. The first reason I think is the story. I think that's the most important reason. Another reason is, they just want to look good. The more money they make, they want to have a nicer house. They want to have a nicer car. They want to show off. They want to be, hey, look, I'm doing great. I have this money. I get to enjoy it. They just want to live the life. You want to look good. You want to satisfy your ego. You want to be this great, wonderful, rich person. And yet, if you're always working for your money, you're not rich. You're poor in time. And to me, that's not rich. That's called, I don't know. It's not. Financial freedom is not what that's about. When you decide to save your extra money and then invest it to make passive income, that is the day you begin your journey to financial freedom. Okay, so I promised you the 3 steps to living a financially free life, and here they are. The first step, is to pay yourself first. Save at least 10% of the money you make. What does that mean? I will explain it. Step 2, invest the money you save to create passive income. And step 3, reduce or keep your expenses the same. Right? Because financial freedom has 3 parts. Financial freedom, right, equals passive income is greater than expenses. So there's passive income and there's also expenses. You want to become financially free faster? You make more passive income quicker and you spend less money. Because financial freedom equals passive income greater than or equal to expenses. So, step 1, I'm going to explain it in a little more detail. You're going to pay yourself first, save at least 10% of the money you make. So what does that mean? First of all, when you make money, when you get a paycheck, we're going to go to number 2 right now. When you get paid, all that money you get, that's your income. Okay, that's the money you make. What you need to do is, and that includes passive income, because right now my husband and I, we make about $600 a month in passive income. Okay, so it includes our passive income. We take at least 10% of that, which is $60 of the passive income, and then also our working income, because we both have jobs. We take 10% of the money we get paid in our paycheck after taxes are taken out. I'm in the United States, our paychecks, we have this, they automatically take out our taxes. I don't know about where you are in your country. However, in the United States, taxes are important. I'm sure in your country you have taxes too. You know, you have to pay your taxes. So after they take these taxes out, we take 10% of your income. Now, if you don't get your taxes taken out first, you can take 10% out and then pay your taxes. It's up to you. And then you automatically put that money, that 10%, into a savings or a brokerage account. A brokerage account is an account where you can invest your money in stocks or bonds or funds or different things. And if you don't know what that is, just use a savings account for now. That's okay. I didn't know what it was too 5 years ago, so I put my money aside in another bank account. And then a friend taught me what a brokerage account was, so I started putting in the brokerage account. So that's what you have to do. Take 10% of that money and put it in a savings account or brokerage account. Now, why do you do this? First of all, paying yourself first tells the universe and yourself that you are the most important and that you deserve money. You deserve to be wealthy. You should be paying yourself first. You should be number 1 in your line of people collecting money from you. You should be number 1 in line because you are the most important person. Take care of yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself, no one else is going to take care of you. You have to take responsibility and take care of your own life, and that means paying yourself first, before your rent, before your bills, before your cell phone bill, whatever it is. Pay yourself first. Save money. And actually, another thing about this that I didn't write in here, which is important, is that you never spend that money you save. You keep it forever to work for you and only spend the dividends. That's really important. Sorry, let's just look at the bottom here. If you don't have enough money yet, okay, say you're looking at this and I'm like, oh my goodness, 10% is a lot of money. And honestly, 5 years ago, I couldn't do it. I didn't have enough money. I didn't make enough to save 10% because I spent all of it to just get by. So if you don't have enough money yet, then what you do is take $1 every day and take 10% of the dollar and put that 10% in a money jar and save it. So 10 cents a day out of that dollar. It's the habit of saving that is important, not the amount. So even if you are so poor that you're not able to do 10%, do 10% of $1. And it's important you do this, and you might think it's stupid. And honestly, I just trusted them when they taught me this. They teach us that millionaire mind intensive. They teach you even more than this. However, this is one of the basic principles. And when I started out doing this, I would split $1 every day because I just didn't have enough money. I split $1 a day for I think 3 years. 3 years I split $1 a day. And if I was on a trip, I'd bring envelopes instead of jars. Instead of jars at home, right? I have the jars and I need to pack. So I'd have envelopes and I'd get change in advance so that I could split my $1 every day into these envelopes. Now you're thinking 10 cents a day, how am I going to get financially free with 10 cents a day? Well, you have to start somewhere, and it's the habit of saving that is important, not the amount. Trust me. Now, if you look at this and you're like, okay, and you don't do it, you don't know. And you will never be free. I mean, you have to ask yourself, do you want to be free or not? If you want to be free, you're going to take the steps to be free. Financial freedom, remember, is passive income, greater than expenses. So you need passive income. So what do? When you start saving money, you're going to start having money. You're going to have the savings account with money in it, right? So what do you do with it? You have to invest it to create passive income. How do you do that? Well, you don't know right now, and that's totally fine. When I started this journey 5 years ago, I had no idea how to make passive income, except maybe put it in a savings account. Our savings account interest is so small, right? Because of the economy, the interest rate is so low. So I had to read. I read magazines. I read Smart Money magazine, which went out of print. There's other magazines like Money Magazine. I don't know, in your country you might have another magazine. Books about investing. Get an investment advisor who works on a set fee, not paid on commission. And get an advisor who is financially free so that they can give you good advice because they know how to become financially free. If your advisor is not financially free, they're not going to be able to help you become financially free. Keep learning so that you can keep investing wisely. Okay, so you just have to learn it. So while you're saving, learn it. You don't have enough money to invest yet, so this is a good time to start reading. Learn how to invest. You can go on the internet to learn this. Step 3, reduce or keep your expenses the same. So keep your expenses the same or reduce them until you are financially free. And this is so hard. I mean, it seems like it's so easy. I have one line here. It's like, oh, that's easy. It's not. I mean, we started making more money, you know, because we have passive income now. We have $600 extra a month on top of our income. Plus, we get raises every year and all kinds of things. So we get more and more money every year. It's so hard to not spend it. You know, oh, we have more money, let's go on another trip. Or, oh, we have more money, let's, you know. And it's like, no. We have to take it and save it and invest it. Okay? We have to keep our expenses the same or reduce them to become financially free. Now, that doesn't mean every now and then you don't want to have fun. We still go on date nights. We still go on trips. We just don't go on more trips than usual. Right? And we don't have extra lavish dates because we make more money. Just keep the dates the same. They're nice dates. That's the point. So your next steps. Follow the 3 steps that I just taught you. And I'll show them to you again, just in case you forgot. 3 steps are: pay yourself first, save at least 10% of all the money you make, invest that money to create passive income, reduce and keep your expenses the same. Those are the 3 steps. Follow those 3 steps. That's your homework to become financially free. Follow 3 steps. Check your email tomorrow for your financial math guide. I promised that I would give you a guide that would teach you financial math, things that people who know about money do, and it's easy for them, however you might not know. I'm going to send that to you in your email by tomorrow, so check your email. And then there's a special offer. This is what I talked about earlier in the webinar. If you want to continue your studying with me. Now, like I said, this whole webinar was enough to get you on the path to financial freedom. If you follow what I taught you in this webinar, you will become financially free, period, because that is the financial freedom formula. Financial freedom equals passive income greater than expenses. Remember, we're looking for time freedom here. Okay? Becoming rich comes later. First is time freedom, which to many people is already rich. Now, if you want more training, I'm offering 2 more webinars in February. Financial freedom budgeting. So I'm going to teach you exactly how I budget my money, how my husband budgets his money, how we budget our money as a couple, because when you're married, you know, you have different issues. So how do you budget money when you're married, when you're single, when you have kids? What exactly do you do with your money? And there's actually a process that my husband and I go through, exactly how we budget, what we do with our money. Every month, where does it go? What do we do with it? We're going to teach that to you in detail. And that webinar is worth $100. Passive income strategies. Passive income strategies is where I show you what we're doing. Like I said, my husband and I, right now, we make about $600 a month in passive income, and it's growing every month because we keep investing. And I'm going to show you exactly what we're doing. Like, I'm going to show you how we open a brokerage account, what we do inside it, how do you buy the stocks we buy, how do you find stocks that pay good dividends, how do you do the transaction, and then exactly what to do. So you can do the exact same thing you're doing if you want to. Now there's an infinite number of passive income strategies. Okay, you don't have to do what we do. In fact, it might not be for you. However, for us, it's working, and we can share you exactly what we are doing. It might be a start for you, and then you might find something better. However, that's what the second webinar is. We're going to show you exactly step by step what we do to make that extra $600 a month that keeps growing. I'm going to show you what we're doing, and it's not hard. I can show it to you in a 1 hour long webinar. And the value of that is actually, I think, priceless. I've set it at $100. I think I'm being very reasonable here. As a bonus to the 2 webinars, I'm going to give away a general admission ticket to a 2015 Millionaire Mind Intensive seminar of your choice. Now, it's actually not, got the wrong number there. It's actually an $8 value US. Last time when I was going, it was about $8 if you pay the regular price. And the reason it's so cheap to go to a 3-day seminar for Millionaire Mind Intensive is because they advertise their other seminars, and they want you to know who they are and how great they are, so that you will think they're great and you will buy their advanced seminars, which are much more costly. And their advanced seminars are great. I paid for them, and they are much more costly. So their first seminar is much cheaper. It's just like this one for me. This is a free webinar, and you don't know me, so it's free so that you can find out, who I am and if you like me. If you like me and you want to learn more, you're more than welcome to do so. And if you got what you needed, that's fine too. I'm totally fine with not doing these other 2 webinars. Either way is fine with me. I just want to do whatever makes people have the results they want the fastest, because I want you to be financially free just like I want me to be financially free. I think it's important. I think financial freedom is something that everyone can have. So $297 is the value. Actually, it wouldn't be $297. It would be $208. $208 would be the value of this. Okay, so you get to go to this amazing seminar, 3-day seminar that changed my life, changed Dr. Steve Shiner's life. It's been around for, I think, 21 years, this seminar. It's changed the lives of so many people I know. It's the best seminar I can ever tell you to go to about money, and I highly, highly recommend it. It changed my life. So regular price, $208. And I'm going to tell you this. If I discounted it to, let's say I took $100 off, it would be such a good deal. $108 for all that. That would be a great deal. And this is for people who want extra training. They want to spend some more money to get more training to get ahead faster. Now I'm going to tell you today the price is not going to be that. I'm actually cutting it down. I'm making a special because well, I'm just going to skip this slide. Because of the fact that it is, I got all my math wrong. We're just going to skip this slide and go on to the next one. Because it's MLK Day, we're having a special offer, in honor of freedom. We're going to offer the whole thing. Sorry. I got my prices a little wrong. It's the premium tickets that are $97. That's what I'm all mixed up. The regular ticket is $8, and I'm giving you that included in this price. $697 US dollars. I always put US because there's so many people from all over the world on this call who want to make sure you understand it's US dollars. So I'm giving you all of this, these 2 webinars where I teach you financial freedom budgeting, I teach you passive income strategies, and I also give you tickets to the Millionaire Mind Intensive Seminar, which changed my life, which changed Steve Shiner's life. There is this man in our company, his name is Vic Stracius, and he made more money than any man has ever made in affiliate network marketing company. In 1 month, he made like $80,000. He's already made over $2 million. He went to the Millionaire Mind Intensive Seminar. This seminar has trained so many people. It's just, I don't even know how to tell you. And I've taken a lot of seminars, so I know that this one is really good. I wouldn't recommend it if it wasn't, and I'm going to give you a ticket with the price. So $697. I think you can understand it is a huge discount. I mean, my time is worth much more than that. I'm doing this only as a special. It expires on the 25th of January forever. I'm not going to do this discount again until maybe, I don't know, I might do it again next year. We'll see. We'll see. I might not, okay? All I know is that on the 25th of January, I'm going to change it to the regular price. And the regular price is going to be $208. Okay? So the price right now, $697 US dollars. That's what you get. You can get that great price for these courses and that ticket at www.workwithme.com/registration2. Okay, so that's the link that you use. And I'll show you where it goes. So let me stop sharing for a second and come back and say hi. Hi, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that presentation. I'm just going to share with you where that link will go so that you can see what you'll be doing when you click on it. And this is all the work that I put into this because I really, I really believe in this cause. I think it's a great cause. Okay, so let me show you. Let me share my screen one more time. And I hope for you right now you're understanding some things and some things are changing and you're realizing that you can be financially free and something is working in your mind and you're thinking this is what's gonna make the difference for me. Sorry, I think I might have put in the wrong link in that presentation, so keep watching. I have to figure this out. It's not working, so I want to make sure you have the right link. Okay, so let me just make sure of what I called it. Because right now it's not loading. I'm glad I'm doing this test to make sure it works. Right now it's not loading. Let me just make sure what the link is so that you could register if you want to. Do that. Workwithme.com. Oh, that's why. Okay, yeah, that link is wrong. The actual link is -3. Okay, workwithme.com/registration-3. All right, so do that link, and that will work. Sorry about that. Okay, so let me share my screen and show you what you will see. Oh, you are seeing? Are you seeing my screen? Not yet. Okay, so let me share my screen with you so you can see. One second. Okay, there it is. Share. So when you go to that link, workwithme.com/registration-3, you get to this page. It says Advanced Financial Freedom Webinars. You get the Financial Freedom Budget, and that's on February 16, 2015 at 11 a.m. Same time. It's also on a Monday, and that's because that's a holiday. I don't work that day. It's President's Day. And then there's going to be the second seminar. It's going to be the same day. I'm just going to do them both that day. Passive Income Strategies. It's the same day. It's just at 5 p.m. that day. Now, there are going to be replays as well. So if you miss it, you can still see the replay. So to get your spot, what you're going to do is enter your first name and your last name. So I'm going to put mine in just to show you what would happen. Okay. Okay, so you put in your full name, you put in your email to reserve your seat in those webinars. And then you're going to be directed. Okay, so it's going to make you do this thing where you have to put in this number to prove that you're a real person, I guess. You do that. It's going to take you to a page where you can pay for the $697. Okay? Now, if you happen to be like, I want to go with my wife or my spouse, and I want to have 2 tickets to Millionaire Mind Intensive, then just hit the 2, and then it's $13.94, right? So just click the one that you want, you hit the Buy Now button, and then you pay for your tickets. Okay? So you can either use a credit card right here. You can pay with a debit card, credit card. If you have PayPal, you can pay with PayPal. You can sign into your PayPal here, or you can just go there and pay. It's going to have your amount here, and that's what you pay. So that's how it works. I'm so proud that I created that for you. So this is only for people who want extra training. Like I said, the training that I've given you already is more than enough to get you to financial freedom. However, if you want that extra boost, and I highly recommend it, $697 is so cheap. When I went to Millionaire Mind Intensive, I actually paid for the VIP seat, and I ended up paying It cost $200, I think it was $297, something like that. I paid something like that to get 2 VIP tickets. I took my best friend with me at the time. We flew over. I flew to LA to take it. Oh, I will show you the classes. That's another thing I can show you. Let me do that so you can understand where it's at. Where are these? When are they? When are they? Where are they? Let me share with you that so you can see that real quick. Okay, so the classes are here. So San Jose has a class, Miami has a class, Orlando has a class. And it starts January 23rd in San Jose. There's January 30th, it's in Miami. February 6th is in Orlando. Sacramento, California, February 6th. Baltimore, Maryland is February 27th. Montreal, Quebec, Canada is March 6th. La Jolla, California, March 6th. Tampa, Florida, March 13th. Salt Lake City, Utah, March 26th. Denver, Colorado, March 27th. Calgary, Alberta, Canada, April 10. Dallas, Texas, April 24. Los Angeles, California, May 15. And that's the one that I think I'm going to send my husband and my mom to. So I'm going to send them there on that. So if you go to that one, you probably will meet us. I don't know if I'll go to take care of Jordan. However, my husband and my mom will go. And then there's San Antonio, Texas on June 26th. So it's only in the United States and Canada right now. We used to have them in other locations. Right now it's only there. It's worth flying to. It's worth going. I flew there from Hawaii. So I had to fly to mine. And there were people at mine that were from all over the world. There were people from Germany, people from Japan, all over the world. People travel from all over the world to take these seminars. So the seminar is amazing. It works. It's just mind-blowing. If you go, you'll understand. You'll understand what I mean. It's a great seminar. So that's why I'm sharing it with you. I just want you to have the opportunity to go. That's why I'm doing it so cheap. You know, it's like hardly any money at all. Because I want to give you the opportunity to become financially free. So I'm going to end it. It's a little over an hour. So I'm going to stop this presentation. I'm just going to share with you my screen one more time because I just want to say, and this is the truth from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for attending. Thank you for listening to my story. And thank you for letting me come to you and offer my services, because to me it's really a great joy. It's really a great joy to share what I've learned and to have other people have it change their lives. So to me, having you here, I just want to thank you, and I want to wish you the best on your journey to financial freedom. My husband, my son Jordan, and I, we really appreciate you, and we want to meet you someday. We will, I'm sure. And take care of yourself. So this is me, Dugalau, live with our Financial Freedom webinar for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I want to wish you a wonderful, wonderful Monday, and if it's Tuesday, a wonderful Tuesday. If you're watching the replay, I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day. Aloha.